Hello everybody, welcome back to another video by DissociaDID. This is Kaya, I'm the host of our system and the host of the DissociaDID project. First of all, I'm sorry if there's some background noise. Our neighbours have decided to play the soundtrack of The Greatest Showman at the greatest possible volume they could get it to, and don't seem to be stopping anytime soon. I'll do my best to sort it out, but if you can hear some musical interludes, I'm sorry about that. During our inpatient stay at a mental health ward in 2020, Nin asked these questions to other people that we shared the facility with. She told other patients on the ward that she wanted to make a video about what inpatients want professionals to know. And they confirmed to Nin that they would be happy to let us use their responses in a video to help get their voices out there. No changes have been made to the original quotes or the notes that were originally taken by Nin. They were written by Nin in the inpatient ward. All the interviewees will also remain anonymous, and this is what they wanted you to know. Bank staff and agency staff are the biggest concern. How can you care for us if you don't get to know us? People who are mentally ill are still people. Some of us are very intelligent and accomplished individuals. We deserve the same respect that you would give to anyone else. If I complain, I feel like everyone will have a bad vibe against me. Avoid picking favourites if you can, because we can tell. We aren't saying don't be human. Be aware that some practices, even if they're medically necessary, like being sedated or being tied down, do feel like punishments, or they can be extremely triggering. Many patients worry that staff would be more likely to use things like restraints due to their personal opinion on their patients, rather than considering whether or not it is actually needed. This obviously causes considerable steps back in their healing process. For some staff, and not all, it is very obvious who is on a power trip and who lets their ability to control and have that power over other people go to their head. We've witnessed those staff administer treatment in a cruel or unnecessary way. If we or you are new to the ward, we don't know if you're going to be one of them. So try not to respond to complaints by getting personally offended. We have no control in there, and that is terrifying, especially when you're already in a dark place. We know you're busy, but how can you support the patients if you aren't communicating with them? So again, listen to your patient, keep them updated on their care plan, communicate with them about what's going on and how they're doing. Obviously, a lot of the time, words like fine and okay are filler words. They don't actually mean they're fine or okay. They could be telling the truth, but you need to follow up. If you hear a patient using a filler word like this, follow up with them, communicate with them, engage. Encourage that communication between the two of you. When you've already got to the point of needing to become an inpatient or being sectioned, opening up and verbalizing how you are is extremely difficult, and sometimes it feels impossible. Show them that you care about how they really feel and don't take fine and okay at face value too often. De-escalate situations as soon as you can. We understand that backup may be necessary sometimes for your safety, but if you are crowding a patient who is reacting out of fear, they may start to feel cornered and lash out. Don't panic, communicate. Sometimes facilities feel like a holding ground. It is very frustrating to have your life controlled by other people, especially if it's against your will, even when it is for your own safety. Being compassionate and kind goes a really long way, and sometimes calming words can come off as condescending. Many of us in inpatient facilities will be scared and angry. Now, to the mental health professionals, that's not your fault, but how can you help? Offering to draw with us, initiating a board game, opening the outside space if outdoors is available, and even just opening conversation. Sometimes we need to be reminded that we're human too. Spend quality time with your patients. Listen to them. Especially listen to your key patient to make sure that their care plan is accurate in their recovery. Make it clear to them that you are reviewing their progress in anticipation of their healing and their eventual discharge, and do so regularly. Include your patients on the decisions that are made regarding their care and ask their opinion on it, even if it can't be changed. I find it rude when new staff and bank staff don't introduce themselves. If we don't know you, why would we trust you? If you are new to the ward, introduce yourself to your patients. They are putting their care in your hands. At the very least, we need to know your name and your personality. There's not enough to do and no one pushing you to do activities. Encourage your patients to join in groups, to spend time getting involved in things, but don't push too hard if they say no. If they get loud or snappy or start to withdraw, they probably feel like their boundaries are being pushed. And you absolutely don't want them to feel like their boundaries are being broken or that they're not being listened to. So respect those boundaries and listen when they express what they want or need. Compromise is going to be the best way forward. A short and sweet little video there, but those are all the answers that we got from other inpatients on our ward. We only asked a very small group, a group that we had bonded with while we were in there, one of whom was also a DID system. I think the biggest issues definitely can be staff just not listening, not caring, and it being really, really obvious when that is the case. And it is so infuriating when you have staff that don't care. We know you're overworked. We know you're stressed. We know you want your shift to be over and go home, but you are taking care of real human lives here. Human lives who don't feel like their lives are worth anything or are in very, very bad places. And we know you know that. And seeing that you don't care or that you take it lightly, or even seeing staff members joke about it or use restraints and things like that as punishments rather than to help somebody. Yeah, not cool. Understatement. We just want to be treated like human people who have their own rights. And when you go into a place like that involuntarily, it does feel like you're losing your rights. We need you there to protect us, to help us. Not so that you can exercise a power trip, not so that you can just get your next bill. And I understand how difficult it is. I'm not making light of that. And I'm not saying that it isn't hard. If you are one of the staff that does go above and beyond for their patients and listens and is there and actually cares and considers them as human people rather than inconveniences, thank you. We can tell the difference. I think that's everything for today. Loads of love, everybody. Goodbye.